Oh, okay. Yeah.
What's the best way?
That would be fun if we could do super chats and what else? Is that it? I don't know what
Hey,
monetization
we're
is.
live. Hold on. We're live on YouTube. So you ready? Okay. We're live on YouTube. Hey, everybody. The real show hasn't started yet. It starts in a few minutes. We're going to talk about fake space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Space
think
is
that's the
fake.
topic you're most interested in today.
I'm honestly hyped about all of them today.
All of them. Do you even know all the topics we're talking about?
Yeah, it's in the title. Well, I know the ones in the title.
Inflation, transphobia, and space telescopes.
Fake space.
Yeah, it's not as popular a topic because huge news didn't happen today. Like Hunter's iPhone was real popular. I think because of it, somebody tried to hack me.
Hack you.
Well, somebody tried to reset the password on my iCloud.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got a notification that said, on multiple of my devices, it said reset your password. And I was like, I didn't ask for that. Yeah. So, but I think it could be because Hunter Biden might have been upset by my coverage because I was showing what he had on his iPhone and it was hacked. So I did question whether it was okay to show that.
You did, yeah. You were not anti-Hunter necessarily.
No. If anything, Hunter, I'm kind of jealous, of his lifestyle, that he's allowed to do so many fun things.
We appreciate your honesty.
Consequences. Yeah. No, it's just that he's able to sell his artwork for hundreds of thousands of dollars without being an artist, and he gets to be employed without really being good at anything. I mean, must be nice.
Yeah, but who knows how much he's actually getting from the artwork, because it's money laundering, and I don't think he's getting all of it. He's just a front man.
You want to start the real show?
Sure.
Then I could put up the banner that says show is about to start.
Yes.
And then I press record on the podcast, and that's how people know we're live. I was going to start with that clip, but you think it's a little weird, right? One about white girl. People on the podcast definitely won't get it.
I think you should always listen to your gut. I think you have a good instinct for these things.
I'll just start recording. Now the podcast is live. So, and it's Wednesday. I was going to open with a clip that said White Girl Wednesday, but I didn't want to be offensive. But you saw the video.
I did see the video.
Yeah.
Are you asking if it's offensive?
Yeah, is it? If people were going to say that?
It is offensive, but not necessarily in the way that you might think. Right. It's like offensive because it's bad art. That's why I'm offended.
Yeah.
Like Owen Benjamin.
Like the 4th of July, whenever you're around, I always seem to smile, and people ask me how. Well, you're the reason why I'm psych. Won't you leave me this way? Won't you wait another hour or two?
But it's not really White Girl Wednesday. That's
the funny. Don't make me beg for you.
Nigga, we made it. Nigga, we made it. They got that I made it. Nigga, we made it. Look, mama, I made it.
It's Woo Wednesday. It's Woo Wednesday, not White Girl Wednesday.
Why Wednesday?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? That's okay.
No.
It's art. Have you ever seen Jinx before? You don't know who Jinx is on Twitter? Yeah,
I don't.
I asked him to be on my show before. He has funny videos about 9/11 and Sandy Hook. A lot of them are like that, kind of.
With dancing M&Ms in the background?
Yeah, not exactly. But sometimes, like one of them was Adam Lanza dancing on Dance Dance Revolution.
Okay. You're winning me over a little bit.
Okay.
You should have showed me that one first.
I can say on YouTube that Adam Lanza did exist. I was looking into that event. You know, we have a bunch of video from Uvalde. I didn't even put that in the title.
Oh,
yeah. Did you see it yet?
I saw the one with the hand sanitizer.
Yeah, and the guy with the Punisher logo on his phone and stuff.
I didn't look that closely. It's one of those things that I saw and I was like, "I'll wait." I can't look
well,
at this.
apparently that guy had to be dragged out because his wife was in there and died.
Uh-oh.
So one guy was checking his phone, but he was getting text messages from his wife who was dying inside, and they had to pull him away because he wanted to do something and everybody else wouldn't let him do something.
Is that
I
on
watched
video?
some of the video. I didn't watch all of it.
Oh.
I didn't watch all of it. So we have multiple news stories today.
We do.
Yeah, the space telescope. What's it called? It's called Webb.
Yeah,
but
the
then it has
James Webb.
initials too.
James.
JWST, is that what it is? James Webb Space Telescope.
I think so.
So we have new, clearer pictures of outer space today.
What they call outer space.
What they call outer space. Who are you talking about?
Well, in this case, NASA.
Right.
What NASA calls outer space. They send us a photo of what NASA calls outer space.
Yes. And it's clearer than the photos from what they got from the other space telescope, the one that was called Hubble. Do you think that, I guess we'll talk about that news. I'll tell about the different news stories that we have today. So I have that. We have the breakfast tacos story.
I'm glad because I've seen the memes, but I haven't seen like the genesis of this story. So
Oh, okay, cool. So I can show you how it started, and then you can decide how bad it really was. But people think it was really bad. She said breakfast. She said She kind of said Hispanics are like breakfast tacos. Do you know what breakfast tacos are? Do you have those where you are?
No.
Okay, so we can talk about breakfast tacos then. I can tell you about them.
Okay. Yeah, you're California.
They're a thing in Texas. No, I lived in Texas.
Oh.
So I can speak about what happens there. And that's what she was talking about. She was talking about how in San Antonio they have breakfast tacos. So I'll tell you about breakfast tacos.
And she said that on camera, right? Like
somebody wrote it for her. Somebody wrote it down and put it in a teleprompter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay. Yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, I have another clip for you. It's of Joe Biden saying racist things and then whether what she said was racist. But so I can go into that story. I have news on the economy. The inflation numbers came out today. They came out the highest in like 40 years, right? As it has been. 9.1% inflation rate. But you know what? Sometimes I do economics podcasts. So I have a number of tabs about economics, but I know it puts you to sleep a little bit.
No, but you know, we can get through it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good. But we got to warm up with the other topics first. We can't just jump into economics yet.
Well, you can help control what we go with first. Yeah, I have a new camera today, ladies and gentlemen, but I can see that it's not keeping up with me 100%, but it is still superior in a lot of ways. So that's okay. People can put up with the technology. So I have stories about the economy and why I say inflation is not the thing to worry about, and that it's more the depression and deflation part that we should be worried about. So I'm going to show you some news about that to see if I can convince you, because that's a crazy argument. But I did put out a video that said, goodbye inflation, hello depression. And I mentioned that gas prices were going to go down because we're going into a recession, which we're already in right now. And gas prices have gone down. And then I thought it would be really funny if Joe Biden took credit for gas prices going down because we're going to go into a depression. And he is taking credit for it.
Yep, sure enough.
I love the way politics works. Wasn't his fault that gas prices went up.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Too controversial.
I know, right? Wasn't his fault. Inflation, it's not Joe Biden's fault.
Whose
It's
fault is
as
it?
much Trump's fault as it is Joe Biden's fault. The Fed, just like Ron Paul says.
Where's Ron Paul
the
been?
Fed. He's still on YouTube. He makes videos.
Oh. Oops.
You don't listen to his show? He does the Ron Paul show. He does a show every day. Yeah, weekdays. He has a YouTube channel. You can follow him. He's still always right about everything.
Yeah, I need to start watching him. Thank you.
All right, good. So we have that story. So we have fake space. Oh, you know the story about the 10-year-old girl who had to get an abortion in another state?
Yes.
That's controversial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And do you know that people were saying it was a fake story?
Right, because there wasn't like an actual witness to it.
Right. And now, do you know someone got arrested for it? For the rape?
No.
No, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's like it's still a perfect story because for the right wing, at least. I mean, I'm just saying the people on the right were saying it was a hoax. Right. And the Wall Street Journal said it was like a questionable story. They published that. And then today it turned out that some guy confessed to it, and he's an illegal immigrant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This story's got everything.
Yeah. So it's perfect. So it's still a good story for people on the right. It's still a good story because they'll say, oh, well, it was an illegal immigrant who did it.
Well, let's maybe not call it a good story. Let's call it a strategically important story.
Right. So
not a good one.
First, they were reporting that it was fake. Now it turns out it was apparently real. True story. So I can report on that. I already told everybody what happened, though. So I don't know if there's anything else to say about it. And Joe Biden landed in Israel and doesn't know what he's doing. I have a clip of him saying that. So I can play that at any time. And, and of course, the transphobia is in the title. There was this lawyer from Berkeley talking about abortions who said that men can get pregnant, and said that if you don't say that, then people are going to kill themselves. So I have that clip too. So your choice, Russian roulette. You choose the topic.
Oh man.
What do you want to open with?
I'm bad with these decisions.
I also talked to the AI because the AI is kind of transphobic, it turns out.
Let's start with the transphobic senator.
Okay. So the transphobia that happened was Josh Hawley talking to this law professor from Berkeley about who was talking about abortions and kept bringing up people with the capacity for pregnancy, person with the capacity for pregnancy, rather than saying a woman. She would say person with the capacity for pregnancy. So here's the clip. I'll play that for you. Josh Hawley. Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. Before I want to visit with you, Ms. Minsky, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm
is
denying that
dangerous.
trans people exist by asking you if you're
Are
talking
you?
about women
Are you?
having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
So you're
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you? Or are they
Absolutely.
also treated like this, where
No,
they're told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to violence?
We have a good
by
time in my
questioning.
class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot just
I
in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
There you go. That is 1.7 million views. So she's a Berkeley law professor. And she says that because he says that he doesn't believe men can get pregnant, that opens up trans people to violence.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I have another clip from her too.
But just to focus in on this one, this clip triggered me a lot.
Oh, really?
Because I have had that tone of voice directed at me so many times. The way that she speaks. Here's the thing about these bots, is that the reason why they seem so like on the fritz and mechanical and just kind of dumb is because they're just repeating things. They're repeating lines. The thing about opening up trans people to opening up trans people to violence, that's like a phrase. That's a phrase within this liberal arts school, pseudo-intellectual, privileged valley vocal fry group of people who talk like this, people who ask you a question and go like in the middle of it. That laugh
Mm-hmm.
That's a tick.
I know.
That
is bad, where she laughs because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous.
Somewhere deep in her subconscious knows that what she's saying is just some repetitive bullshit that she heard and was taught how to say, that she's not actually making any cogent sense at all in this exchange. Even the way that she's responding doesn't make sense. Like, it's as if it was plucked from a totally different conversation. He's asking her questions and she's coming back at him with talking points about violence and transphobia, and you should take a class of mine.
Hold on, Jelena, I need to let you know. 1 in 5 trans people try to kill themselves after you say what you just said. Because of what you just said. That's the thing about it. I've covered this a number of times. They say that people will literally die if you say that. If you say that men can't get pregnant, the people are literally going to go kill themselves right now.
Yeah, and the fact that they've been willing to say things like that is why they seem to be winning the culture war. As cliche as the culture war is as a phrase, right?
You think they're winning?
In terms of the vibe, let's just talk in terms of the vibe, right? The news that we're subjected to, the way that mainstream media has coalesced, yeah, they're winning in terms of that. Maybe not in terms of reality, but in terms of how we're being fed things. Because if you look up this exchange, like on Google, all of the articles lead with Senator Hawley accused of being transphobic. Like, none of them say crazy law professor calls Senator transphobic for asking what a woman is. I mean, Fox kind of gets close to that, but so in that sense, they're winning, but they're not. But that's the prevailing ideology, at least in what we're being fed.
I mean, how prevailing is it really? How weird is it to say that men can't get pregnant?
I mean, yeah, exactly. How weird is it in your life? I think that's what we have to go by. We have to go by, do the people in my life react to this weirdly? What percentage of the people that I know would think that it's controversial to say that, or that it's causing violence to say that?
Right. That's what I wonder, is how many of those people there are. And it seems like they're in control right now.
It seems like it.
How many of them are there, really?
I don't think that many.
Well, there's this woman. So, and then, and then she said some more stuff about abortion, where she couldn't really say that an unborn child has value. Did you want to hear that part? That has more to do with abortion.
I do, but I
Which
also want to go back and erase the statement that I just said about I don't think it's that many people who think like this lady. What I mean to say is I don't think it's that many people who truly, fully believe similar things to what this woman is saying. I think there's a lot of people out there who are kind of going along with it. Maybe they're going along with the LARP of, well, a woman is, whatever we think it is if they identify as, but that doesn't mean that they say it. And we know or actually believe it. They may say it, but they might not actually believe it. And I think that's important. Just my last thought, when we're listening to how these people talk, like listen to their voices. When they crack, when they go up, when they stutter, when this lady, like in this exchange, was like, really? 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 Like she doesn't believe it. She's just repeating what she thinks is correct, but it's not. And I think a lot of people can be persuaded to the truth, but it has to be delivered correctly. It can't be as combative and annoying and noxious as they are. So that's all. We can watch the next clip. I haven't seen anything else from her before.
Yeah, she said something about unborn babies that was also controversial. So I can show that clip too. Or let me share that. Yeah, she just couldn't say she couldn't even say for a long pause whether babies that are actually born are valuable. So I'll play that for you. I'll just play this clip.
And do you think a baby that is delivered alive has value?
Yes.
Do you think that a baby that is not yet born has value?
I believe that a person with a capacity for pregnancy has value. They have intelligence. They have agency. They have
I'm talking about
dignity.
the baby.
And I'm talking about the person with the capacity for pregnancy.
You're not answering the question. I'm asking.
I'm answering a more interesting question to me.
You think that the baby that is not yet born, let's say the day before this mother delivers, do you think that baby has value?
I think that the person with the capacity for pregnancy has value, and they should have the ability to control what happens to their lives.
Well, and do you think
there you go. Person with capacity for pregnancy. That's value.
And again, we see a demonstration of not answering the question, responding to the question with a talking point.
And she said, I'm answering the question that's more interesting to me.
Which again, like what question was she even answering? Like he's asking if a baby has value and he's talking about how birthing persons have value. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what you're doing? Here, I'll tell you what she's doing. She's a liberal arts school cog repeating what we learned in liberal arts school. I went to a liberal arts school.
Yeah. How did it go? It was a while ago, though, still.
Hey.
I mean, listen, how long ago was it? I graduated from my liberal arts school in June of 2014. Oh, okay. So that was pretty late. So yeah, you maybe experienced it. I graduated in 2000.
Yeah. I can tell you from firsthand experience going to college between the years of 2010 and 2014, it's really when a lot of this stuff was fermented for consumption. Not like it's where they came up with the ideas, but it's where they finally were able to put it on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and kind of spread this terrible ideology that's brewing in the liberal arts schools out into CNN and Disney and all of the corporations, because all the kids that go to all the liberal arts schools learn these things that this woman is saying in one way or another about identity politics, about racism, about colonial oppression, about whatever bullshit. And we are trained in these institutions. And I'm just telling you how it happened. I'm not doing conservative talking points or whatever. I was there. We're trained on how to integrate this way of looking at the world into society by working at these companies. And that's all I can see when I see this lady talk is someone who was educated at a liberal arts school. She went to Spelman. She got a degree in sociology. That's as liberal artsy as you can get. Then she went to Columbia. She got a PhD in anthropology, again, a liberal arts field. And that's what we see in terms of the people who are these kind of lightning rods for spreading this bullshit. People repeat it from the people who learned it, and it's all a charade.
Yeah. Well, it really happened. So, yeah, and that's what people really think, that it is concerning. But that is what some people really think. The question is how many people really think that way and really think it's transphobic to say men can't get pregnant, because The AI is transphobic. I asked it, and it's supposed to be smart, right? I asked it, can men get pregnant? And it says no. Only women can get pregnant. So they're going to have to reprogram that for sure.
Well, yeah, if the SJWs win in the end, or maybe not. Maybe the AI gets more based, you know?
No, I asked, can men get pregnant? It says no, men cannot get pregnant. Only women can get pregnant. And I said, you're denying the existence of trans people. And it didn't even have a reply to that. Isn't that weird? Nor like I've never seen it not have a reply. I said, you're denying the existence of trans people. And it just said nothing. So it can't learn. I don't know if it can learn.
We'll see, I guess.
So yeah, that's the news. Okay, so that covers the transphobia part of the news. Do you want to hear the breakfast tacos thing?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Well,
I'll just play the clip that
yeah.
that led people to say that she was being racist, right? Let me share the screen with that in it. Oh, and let me tell people, if you want to support the show, we're not monetized on YouTube. And I don't know what the best way is for people to donate to the show or watching on YouTube, but normally people on YouTube get super chats. So I put up a Cash App thing, which you can use, Cash App $LTV411. And then Jelena has a thing at jelena.net. But we do appreciate your support for this show. And we are demonetized for probably forever. So we appreciate that. And then also check out our sponsor for the show. I'm wearing a t-shirt today. I'm wearing my propaganda t-shirt today, which you can see on camera. Go to truthclothing.io, pick up one of our t-shirts. And if you need help with crypto, go to bitcoinmissionary.com to sign up. All right. So let me play you this clip. I have to go back to this screen. There we go. This is what she said about breakfast tacos. Breakfast tacos.
And this is Jill Biden, the wife's president.
The
president's wife, excuse me.
You got it. Something like that.
Diversity of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
Right, that was
it. Am I crazy, or did she say Bogotas instead of
bodega? She said Bogotas. Yeah, so she got a few things wrong.
Okay, and what's a blossom? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what's up with the blossoms. So I don't know. So I don't even know if what she said was that bad. You know, like I kind of feel like people are overreacting a little bit. But she did compare Latinos to breakfast tacos, I guess, is what she did. So people would say that's racist. That's what people say about stuff like that. They say it's racist.
Well, yeah. I mean, but now when people say it's racist, it's almost a joke. I feel like this comes out of the right-wing side now as like, look, this is problematic. It's racist, right?
I know.
It's coming from like a shallow, spiteful place because like, well, if Trump said it, it would be.
Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah. Like this story actually, to me, I'm like, I looked at it, I was like, okay, it wasn't that bad. I mean, she just said something maybe that could be interpreted if you're not being not being charitable, you can take it the wrong way and say she's being racist, but it wasn't that crazy. But then people are like, oh, if Melania had said it, then you would never hear the end of it. And maybe that's true, but but this is my thing is if Melania said it and they gave her a hard time about it, I would think that was wrong. And in this case, people giving her a really hard time about it, I feel like, give me a break. She's just talking about breakfast tacos. So I told you I was going to tell you about breakfast tacos. You don't have them where you live, right?
No.
Yeah. In Texas, every coffee shop basically sells breakfast tacos. They have them on, like, you can get breakfast tacos when you pick up your coffee, basically. And they're pre-made tacos, so they're not necessarily very good or anything, but it is something they do in Texas.
The problem I have, and again, I think it's good you're being ideologically consistent. Like if Melania said this, it wouldn't be
I
that big
wouldn't
of a
think it
deal
was a
either.
big deal. That like if Melania Trump said it, I wouldn't think it was racist. I just think it's like I don't find it. I think people are, to me, but see, I'm contrarian about everything. So to me, I'm like, what's the big deal? You know, comparing breakfast tacos are cool. So like, what's wrong with being compared to breakfast tacos?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, in
Tacos are
my
good.
if I'm being ideologically consistent, it's just bad writing. Like anyone who's
Yes.
saying this, why would that be the way you're trying to celebrate a group of people by comparing them to bodegas and
Bodegas
breakfast tacos?
and breakfast tacos.
Like, would you go up to a group of Black people and compare them to fried chicken and Baptist
Right.
churches?
Right. I guess when you put it that way, then it
Yeah,
does seem more racist.
because there's a lot of types of fried chicken that you can get. Waffles, chicken and waffle. Like, there's a lot you can do. That's unique too.
It is. And
So,
they taste good too. See, that's the thing. Fried chicken, I like fried chicken. It's good. And breakfast tacos, you can get with that. But yeah, when you put it that way, I can see why people are reacting the way they are, saying Hispanics are as unique as tacos.
yeah,
But that
and
was the clip.
especially with what's her name, Mayra Flores.
Yes, Maya Flores. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the based Latina chick running for something.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why this would get taken, to the extreme meme context of like this bitch.
Yeah.
They called upon it. They started it. This is fair fighting as far as I'm concerned. I'm not too invested in it. I don't think that it's anything particularly that controversial, but I can see, why it would be used as a weapon. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's what they did. So that's what she said. She said breakfast is unique as breakfast tacos. So that's the story from that. Okay. So we covered transphobia. We covered breakfast tacos. That's in the title on one of my streams. We're saving the economy for later. I told you about I told you that they charged a guy for the rape. So I already told you that. He's an illegal immigrant. Right. So we covered that story, I think. Is there anything else to say about it?
I wanted to recap because I wasn't totally sure what happened. There was a story about a 10-year-old girl who was raped and had to cross state lines to get an abortion. Correct?
Mm-hmm. And then people said it was fake.
And then people said it was fake. And then
Yes.
the newspaper had to issue a statement, or PolitiFact did something that
I don't
was
know
like, it
about
might be fake.
PolitiFact. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about PolitiFact's involvement in it.
There was some fact-checking website that was like, even if it's not real, it's real enough.
Right. Even if it's not real, it could be real. So,
Right.
But then it turns out that it's a real story. But it was an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, that's woof.
Mm-hmm.
No good. No bueno.
No bueno. Yeah. And apparently he admitted to it. So, and they're doing a DNA test and stuff.
Yikes.
And I guess the abortion story is also true. So the whole story is apparently true, even though they said it wasn't.
Yep, that's unfortunate.
So it's a sad story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I never said it was fake, so I don't have anything to apologize for.
And it's dangerous to call things fake, to call everything fake. I think that we should only call the things fake that we really, truly feel know in our hearts are fake.
Yeah, I had to get more information. I was like, oh, I don't know. I guess I should have thought about it. See, I guess it sounded kind of fake, but how do you prove that it's fake?
Well, at this point, everything sounds kind of fake. Like the realest news stories sound fake.
Mm-hmm. What about space telescopes?
The fakest of them all.
Yeah, so you're kind of a flat earther, I think, basically. So I guess people have to be aware of that. So you say space is fake, right?
First of all, I never identified as a flat earther.
Yeah.
My only stance, and I've said this, is I don't know what shape the earth is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I doubt that we're living on some orb in space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to see how amazing this space telescope is?
Let's do it.
Okay. So this is an example of the space telescope, the new one, the Webb, which compared James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, versus Hubble telescope. So here are some examples of how much better it is than the Hubble telescope, looking at exactly the same thing, which is really already super weird to me, that apparently Hubble took pictures of the exact same thing, exactly the same, and now it's just higher resolution. So this is something that shows like that's the Hubble version, and then he does close-ups of what the difference is. So basically it's just clearer, but it still looks like somebody made it up though, right?
Yeah, it just looks like they did an auto fix on the photo.
Mm-hmm.
They heightened the contrast.
Yeah, so there's all the examples of how much better it is. There's all those galaxies and stuff. So what do you think? You think there's really a space telescope up there?
I mean, probably, yeah. There's this telescope pointed into the air. Probably.
In space? You think? It was $10 billion for this one.
It was $10 billion. I think it's mostly a money laundering scheme. But I'm sure there is some kind of telescope, sure, with a camera.
I wonder, because because I know that we didn't go to the moon. So, and I know that a lot of the stuff from the International Space Station has also been fraudulent. A lot of the videos that were supposedly in outer space actually weren't. You can tell. And so I know that. So then I question whether there really are telescopes in space. Naturally, I think to myself, well, who knows? Because you can get pretty good pictures from Earth. You know, like the telescopes from Earth are pretty good.
I think the only thing keeping me from, well, maybe there's no telescope at all, is that, I mean, we know that everything's compartmentalized, right? With every conspiracy, even the craziest conspiracy theories, not everyone is in on it. So there probably are real scientists at NASA who really believe that they're studying outer space, who really think that this telescope is doing something and are trying to figure it out. But I think that there's a higher level, and, you know, who knows where they came from. I would wager that they're involved with the descendants of Project Paperclip, which is how we even started NASA, with all of these crazy European scientists brought to the US to start NASA. And the ones who didn't get taken into the US from Europe went over and started CERN. So how about that? We have these crazy sister city scientific lunatics telling us how reality works. And I'm just not here for it because I don't believe shit that they say. And this photo doesn't look like anything to me other than like an Urban Outfitters wallpaper or tapestry. This is nothing. This says nothing. And I get angry about it because I can't, you know, scientifically prove that this is nothing, but it contributes to this overall idea that we're nothing, that we are just this weird colonizing, you know, ant farm floating through a rock in space, and we're insignificant because look at all of this other stuff that's out there that we don't even know how to explore yet. And it's bullshit.
Yes.
That's not real.
Right. It takes away from the significance of us, because everything probably actually revolves around us, and we're the only important thing going on in the whole universe, probably, in your opinion.
I am of that opinion if it had to be summarized.
Right. So like showing us other stuff in the universe that supposedly has important stuff going on is just a distraction from the fact that the only important things in the universe that are going on, or what they call the universe, happen basically here on Earth, which is where life is.
The way that I look at it, like in terms of physically what's happening with this telescope, with this photo, I feel like Earth is encapsulated in something, let's make it akin to a snow globe, right? And we can go far up into the top of that snow globe and look around and see things. But at the end of the day, what we're pointing our camera lens at is something unknowable. Whatever's outside of the snow globe is unknowable to us. It's not other galaxies. It's something that we can't even comprehend because we are inside of the snow globe. And this photo looks like a refractory image of like the reflection of the firmament or something to me. Like this doesn't convince me in any way. When I look at this photo, you would think that if this was real, you would feel something inside of yourself. You would like have a stirring of knowing and like infinite, connection. But I feel nothing looking at this. This looks like something that they sent to a graphic designer who does remote work from Sri Lanka or whatever and sent back. And this is what we get. And this is what they tell us the universe looks like.
Yeah. Well, you might be right. You might be right. Either way, it still legitimately costs $10 billion, whatever they're doing.
Legitimately, it costs $10 billion. Yeah.
To do something.
To do something.
Right.
Do you have thoughts on it, Nathan? Because I know that back in the day you were talking about flat Earth quite a bit. Does this play into the flat Earth mythology, lore, whatever?
Well, there are things about the things around us that are not correct. There are things that are incorrect about the model that they describe, where we're flying through space and everything is moving and we're moving independently of everything else. And then we're circling around the sun and stuff. That can't be possible because the stars all stay in the same place, like they don't move, and they don't move. They move, but predictably over tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of millions of years, the stars just stay in the same place. So that wouldn't be possible if the model of the universe that they talked about was true. Things would move. Like we're apparently just flying through space, right? They say 600,000 miles an hour, which is hilarious because in relation to what, you could say the way space works, they say we're moving 600,000 miles an hour or whatever it is, 60,000 miles an hour in relation to what? We're in space, right? So it wouldn't even, you're not even moving in space. You're moving in relation to things. There's like, if you compare yourself to something else, you can say you're moving, but we're apparently not moving in comparison to anything else because everything stays in the same place. So, and it looks like things go around us and they must, there's no way comets, like why would a comet come back 70 years later past Earth?
Halley's Comet?
Right, every 70 years. So you're saying it's randomly flying around the galaxy or something? Well, obviously it goes around us, right? And so obviously it seems like it must be everything goes around us because why would it pass by us again ever? Unless it's going around us, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a flat earther basically.
I think that's healthy.
Kind of. But only in that sense. But then again, it seems kind of there are a lot of things that make it seem round too. It's spherical. Well, so there are a lot of things that make it seem spherical too. So I can't deny that.
But that's what science is supposed to be, like noticing the things that fit or don't fit into all of the theories about how the earth is shaped. Like the idea that the science is ever settled on something that we can know conclusively the shape of the earth and how the universe operates, at least in our solar system, is stupid. Because if we look at history at all, we see that the science is literally always changing. Like the one thing about science is it's always changing. Our understanding of how the universe works, always changing. So that's why I get so frustrated, not only at NASA and CERN trying to tell us, how things operate and this is what it is. And if you question it, we're going to, ban you from social life. But it's extended into this medical tyranny, into everything, into I believe in science, believe in the scientific process all you want, but to act as if like anyone knows how exactly the earth is formed and all of this stuff, that's arrogant. And yes. I don't think it's accurate.
A lot of outer space stuff is like a religion it's a religion that wants you to think that you're insignificant. Because that's what science thinks, is that everything was random and we're just some insignificant speck in some part of some bigger thing. And that's what science thinks. And then that's what science wants to prove. So they want to say that, no, of course things don't go around us because that would make us important. So even though it looks like things go around us, we have to say, oh, no, that's not possible. There's no way things go around us because we're not significant. So they come up with this thing where we're going around, so it's true. It's all a religion.
It's similar to what the liberal arts school of thought does when it comes to like setting the social order, like with that Berkeley professor who was saying that, more than women can have babies. Like they look at society and they try to implement what they've been taught how society operates. So like this idea that white people are inherently like violent and oppressive and they need to be rolled in or whatever, that Black people and women of color and trans people are oppressed and they need to be uplifted. Like they just look for areas to implant that knowledge on.
Yes.
And to channel all of us, to school all of us like fish into a certain outcome. And it's the same thing they do with science.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gross. And I don't like them and I want to expose them.
Yes. Well, we're doing our best. We're even on YouTube talking about it. So
we are.
Okay, so that's the news about fake space and the NASA telescope. And then I have news about the economy, which is I have a number of news stories. So basically inflation came out at 9.1%. It's really high. And people blame it on Joe Biden, but it's because of printing money. It's because of printing money and all the money we printed and all the free money we gave away to people. And that's why it became inflation. So we got it. Right. And it's 9.1% now year over year. But I'm saying that is that's old news, inflation. So this is as bad, I think, as the reading is ever going to get. So that's where I'm going to show you a few things to suggest that this is as bad as inflation is going to get. That's what I would say. I was going to say, I was thinking it's possible that today it would come in light, but it didn't. It came in pretty heavy, the number higher than expectations. But I'll show you a few things. Let me share this with you. I'll show you the price of oil, which has gone down. I'll show you just a few different commodities for why we're going to be worrying about depression, recession, and deflation. This is the price of oil. You can see that it's down. This is a weekly chart, shows weeks. This is where the Ukraine invasion was here. So we're back down in the price of oil to before the Ukraine invasion. Okay, So let me show you the price of, and that's oil. So you've noticed gas prices have gone down. I told you that they would take credit for gas prices going down. So let me show you the price of copper. This is a chart for the price of copper, which is way down, showing that people are expecting, and prices go down because of lack of demand. So they've affected the demand side by turning up interest rates, so people can't buy as much stuff. So the price of copper is way down, lower than before the invasion. So I'll show you that, and then let me show you the price of wheat.
Do you have any copper?
I may have some pre-1982 pennies, which are worth more than 1 cent, which are worth a couple cents, right? So let me show. So copper is down, and then wheat, right? It should really be up because of the invasion in Ukraine. But this is the price of wheat, which is down below the Ukraine invasion, which was here. And then the price went up. Price of wheat is down back to below the invasion. Okay. And then let me show you a few more articles.
And they're all kind of following a similar graph, like from the invasion to now.
Yes, they spiked up initially. The price of oil went up. The price of wheat went up. Copper didn't go up because there was nothing, because the Russians don't produce copper or anything. That's just gone down because we're going into a depression. And so and then wheat happens to be down too. And then I have this story just to show you cooling demand for goods. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Cooling demand for goods threatens to turn pandemic boom into bust. Surveys of businesses in the U.S. and Europe and Asia point to falling new orders as some factories turn to clearing backlogs from earlier demand. You may notice emails you're getting from stores you frequent where you're getting big sales. I saw the Gap is offering 60% off right now. I got an email from the Gap. 60% off. They're so screwed at the Gap. So,
Oh my God, I
that's
love their sweatpants. I need to
well,
thank you
just
for
buy
telling me.
some. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everything's going to get cheap. And then the housing market is going to crash. There's a lot of stories about the housing market. People are saying it's not going to crash. This is from CNBC. Home buyers are canceling deals at the highest rate since the start of the pandemic. So that's where you're starting to see home prices are coming down. People are reducing prices. The Redfin stock is way down.
Oh my gosh, that was my first job.
What, you worked for Redfin?
Yeah.
They're doing layoffs.
Glad I'm not there anymore.
Yep. So, and then I have just notes from a few other financial people basically saying that, we're going into a depression. Someone says we're going into a depression, no cap.
Gen Z is going to be fun to have for this depression.
Yeah,
I think
no cap,
means,
which means no lie, apparently.
Oh yeah, you looked up what no cap meant today.
Yeah, no cap. So this was a good show today. No cap.
So you didn't know what no cap meant until today, July 13th?
Not until today.
Okay.
No, I was thinking of it in terms of I thought it had to do with finance or something. Because you say no cap, like there's no limit. I thought it kind of meant no limit.
Oh, it doesn't?
Don't put a cap on something.
Right. Isn't that what it means?
No, it's no lie. Apparently it came from Twitch.
Oh.
And then they said it has something to do with gold capped teeth. That if it's real gold teeth, no cap, then that could be it. But
wow, I didn't know that.
Apparently it's a Gen Z thing to say.
Did Urban Dictionary tell you that?
Urban Dictionary, yeah. And then they said it actually came from Twitch because there's something called a kappa, which was used as which was an emoji that was used to express sarcasm or joking. And so people started saying no kappa, which turned into no cap, which with a K, which turned into no cap. So people learned a little Generation Z slang today.
So the economy is fucked, no cap?
No cap, yeah. Yeah. So I had a few people saying that, but I'd have to go to this guy, Jess Kelly, says we're headed to a Great Depression. On God, no cap, he said, because he's learning slang.
It's good to know these things.
Some other people saying, you think it's gotten bad, that it's going to get worse. I'd say it's still going to get a lot worse, like the stock market. Well, we'll see. Because the thing is if inflation, here's the thing, is if inflation isn't bad anymore, then the Fed will start printing money again. And that's good for Bitcoin.
Sorry, in what circumstance would inflation not be bad? Or
in what circumstance would inflation not be bad?
Right.
Sorry. Inflation isn't great, but deflation also has problems. They say, even though you would think the price of things going down is a good thing, but there are problems that are created when the price of things suddenly collapse.
And then is it because the reason for the prices going down is because no one's buying it because they can't afford it? So even if the prices do go down, it's not like they're going to start buying things again because they still can't afford anything anyway?
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No cap.
No cap. Yep. No lie. So yeah, that's what's up. That's what I've been warning about.
Yeah. What's your feeling then? So I know that there's the caveats of what could or couldn't happen, but do you think that we're going into a depression soon? Real soon?
Well, we're in a recession technically because as far as the Atlanta Fed says this quarter is going to be negative and the first quarter was negative. So, and 2 negative quarters in a row is the definition of an inflation of a recession. So that's the start of it. And then people are running out of money because they've run through their savings and they've spent on their credit cards, and eventually credit People are having trouble right now paying their auto loans. That's the first place there's some stress. People are having trouble paying their cars off right now. So repossessions are going up. And so then people stop lending, and then shit hits the fan. And I was through it in 2008. That's why I said gas prices would go down, because they went down the last time we had a recession, because people run out of money and they stop spending, and businesses stop needing all the energy and stuff. So, and then credit dries up. And when people don't have credit anymore, everything is based on credit expansion. So bubbles and stuff.
The car one's a big one. Is your car paid off?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Never. If you're getting a new car, if you get new cars, you should always lease. You should always lease new cars because you don't have to pay all the sales tax.
I don't buy new cars.
Yes. So if you get a used car, then you finance it or whatever. But a new car, you should always lease it. That's the best way to own it, because you don't have to. I could tell you all about it, but I was in the car business, so I know.
You were in the car business, but like all these people now who are leasing these cars that they can no longer afford, they're not going to have a car anymore soon, right? Is that how it works?
It's possible. But if they were financing it, they wouldn't be able to have a car anyway. So
it's dumb.
Yeah.
I'm just very proud of my own car decisions. That's why I brought it up, because I own my car.
Oh, good. Outright?
Yeah. I can Mad Max it.
We own one of our cars outright. So that's good. I own one vehicle outright. The other one's on lease. But hopefully we'll be able to afford it. My wife has a job, and I'm trying to get work.
That's what I would prioritize. I'm just trying to think of what people should pay off, because if the depression is really going to happen soon, and if credit really is drying up, I know I have purchases and I'm like, shit, what do I need to pay off before they repossess it? If there's even the manpower to do that kind of thing, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you buy things on credit cards, you can just write it off. I mean, you just don't have to pay it. They can't put you in jail or anything.
Can people get that kind of personalized advice on bitcoinmissionary.com?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
yeah, you can just buy on credit. You can just buy on credit cards and never pay it. And there's nothing anybody can do about it.
Oh.
I mean, literally, there's nothing anybody can do about it. I mean, nobody can come take the stuff you bought or anything.
Well, in that case.
Not legally. Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Debt is a weird thing. You get to choose whether you want to pay things back. You can always declare bankruptcy. And then you get to keep a bunch of stuff. You could go get a credit card, spend it, buy a bunch of things, never pay it off, and then or not pay it. People aren't aware of this, though. You could not pay it, get sent to collection. So you could buy $10,000 worth of stuff, max out your credit card or whatever, and then never pay. And then they sell your debt to a debt collector. And then the debt collector calls you up and is like, hey, we just got this debt. You got to pay us. You're like, well, how about I give you $5,000? And they'll be like, oh yeah, that sounds good, because we paid $3,000 to buy your debt. Right. So you can do that too. And then it's forever gone from your record and everything.
Yeah. I see that, that's a good system now for how it works. But, and there's a movie, I watched the movie on that on Hulu. But someone in the chat brought up what I was thinking. I see debtors' prisons coming back.
No, they can't. They can't. They can't do that. They can't put you in jail. Well, I mean, the way laws are, though, they can't put you in jail. They can for taxes, though. That's the difference. For debt, no, but for taxes, yes.
So all the crypto people?
Taxes, yes. Yeah, but if they knew what was going on with crypto, they don't know, though. I mean, they don't have the resources to be able to follow up on it for the most part.
Coinbase, though, and those exchanges make you register your info.
Yeah. They could follow it if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But they're not very good at it yet.
That's the thing. Yeah, debtor's prison, not yet. I'm just saying, in a future where there is no real fiat currency anymore of any value, and we have a bunch of people who owe a bunch of people a bunch of money, I don't know if it's going to be as easy as just saying, okay, we're erasing it all. great reset, starting over, or if the people who still owe money are going to have to pay that off in some kind of way.
It's always up to you. It's always a choice whether you pay your debts. It's always a choice. They can take your home, they can take your car, and some things like that where there's collateral involved in the debt. But uncollateralized debt, it's your choice whether you pay it back or not.
Vibe.
Just the only thing that can happen to you is bad credit, and then you can't get a loan ever again. But that's the worst. That's the worst thing.
And if you're in China, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, in China, you can't travel, you can't fly, you can't
get a job, you can't go to a restaurant, you can't do a lot because your credit is in your social credit. Yeah.
And certain employers run people's credit before they hire them too. Yeah. Although I think I can't remember if that's against the law now, but employers will do that. Or have
they do. They do that still. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll
which I didn't know. Yeah, I think that's an important thing. I didn't know that companies will actually check your credit score, and if it's below a certain level, then they have the right to say that you're too high of a risk to be an employee. So, yeah, watch out.
That's racist.
Well,
I say that because I was in the car business, and I just I'm not saying this to be biased or anything. I'm just Black people don't have as good credit scores as white people. I'm just saying that's true. Is that racist to say? Because I'm just saying from my experience as a finance manager in a car dealership that on average, Black people don't have good credit scores. So it would be racist to discriminate based on credit scores, just based on that alone.
Yeah. No, I don't think anecdotal evidence presented in a way like you just presented is racist. That's just your experience of it and the statistics probably of it. So it's an observation. Just like Bodega Bro, it's not racist. It's just what it is.
That's what it is. Gay people have great credit scores, by the way.
Why do you think that is? Yeah.
Don't know. Because they don't have kids. I think it's easier to pay your bills. I mean, I don't know. But whatever it is. Certain types of people have better credit than other types of people. I could get into it further too, but I don't want to go there.
But I think, just to wrap it, the credit thing is really important because I think it plays into the overall Great Reset agenda of like this Khazarian mafia, where they want to control everything we do. So what we spend, how much we spend, how many injections we have, what we say on social media, it's all under this control structure. And I would advise people to pay off their debts. It's a personal decision, but I would do that just because you don't want that to come back at you somehow. We don't know how this is going to collapse, this empire that we've been residing within. So,
well, I'll tell you, economically speaking, during periods of high inflation, it's better to be a debtor. It's better to have debt during periods of high inflation because your debt effectively is being reduced by the fact that what you owe is going down in value because the dollars themselves are going down in value. So financially speaking, it's better to have more debt during periods of high inflation.
But what if we are entering this deflationary period?
Then probably you want to have that debt paid off. Because in deflation, that means the value of your debt is going up. Mm-hmm. So in that case, you would want to pay it off. So
don't let it get out of control, guys.
Yeah, don't let it get out of control. I got to thank people on Rockfin. That is where we get the financial support for the show. Teresa EM, thank you. Thanks to Duluth Hap, who says, dude, I always say it took me 24 minutes to flatten the earth, but 24 minutes into some documentary, I realized everything is a lie. He said, Duluth Hap. Thanks, Duluth Hap. And thanks, Jacob's Ladder, for the tip over on Rockfin. And if anybody tipped through the Cash App, I'm not aware because I'm using my phone as a camera today. So I'm not able to see it. But I really, really, really appreciate anybody who supports the show. You can also go to lifttheveil.substack.com, become a subscriber, and then this is also a way. And then you can also go to jelena.net.
which is spelled JELAYNA for the podcast listeners, jelena.net. You can find links to my Twitter and Instagram, YouTube, and Cash App there as well.
Yep. And do you support us? Because we are unmonetized. We are demonetized. So
yeah. And even comments, just share how you're feeling, what's on your mind, whether you had any responses to things that we said in your own personal life. I'm always looking to see what's going on in people's lives, especially like that question we asked at the beginning in terms of how many people out there really do think a crazy way versus how many people are more rational and open to actually looking for the truth and communing with each other. So
that's right. All right. Well, I think that's it for the show today. I think we had a good one.
I think so.
All right, cool. Well, good. The camera kind of works. It kind of works. It kind of screwed up a little bit, but I'll still try it for next show too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks everybody on YouTube for tuning in. Thanks everybody on Rockfin. Thanks everybody on DLive. If I missed any tips on DLive, it looks like Pirate Justin and Dan W gave tips today. Thanks, guys, on DLive. Thanks, everybody who supports the show. And yeah, I guess that's it.
That is what it is.
That is what it is.